And we're back. I'm here with Mr. Steffelano. The kids had to go back to class, so I'm going to ask him a few questions before he has to go prep for another class. So I'm glad you get to be here with us.
Thank you, Gary.
I guess me and us. Would you have any advice for future students that try to put on an event like this?
The biggest challenge that we're working on is try to build some teamwork. The students are really good at working alone on assignments, but trying to ready them with this skill of teamwork. They have all grown up together and they are just used to doing things on their own. So working this project, somebody had to do the table layout, somebody's doing the flyer, somebody developed the template for the email invitation, somebody else is doing the program. They all had to follow up with any replies that they got from businesses. Some of them have had to talk on the telephone. Some of them are working with different people to help them produce the program, the flyer, the table tents. They got a donation from a merchant that does business in this area for the career fair. So they've reached out to a lot of different people, and it's been a little bit of a challenge, but they're learning while they're going along. They're going to be in a different place the next time that they're either on the job or in school and they're put in this situation. They'll have a background, which they don't necessarily understand right now. So I'm fine with the challenges that they've encountered.
Yeah, and you find that even in the business world where you have a group of people on a project and you got to make sure everyone does their part, because sometimes you get the one guy who's just there and then first guy to be up and be like, yeah, I always did this, I thought it was important, and it's like that guy didn't do anything.
Right.
So,
And sometimes, I have there's some of the students, they have opinions and they're strong-willed, but they've got to kind of get the consensus of everybody of what's going to work. And my biggest challenge is trying to let them go and maybe make a few mistakes, but still pull off a good enough event that we look good and that the merchants feel as though that they got some return on their time and their investment. So it's a tightrope.
yeah, well, that's what, and I spoke with them before the interview. One of the big things was you have to be flexible, but don't break. Thing, you have to be flexible in working with others, taking others' opinions into account, adding them to yours, compromises, but don't let it break you. If you don't get the sale, don't let that break you. Don't let it keep you up at night. Don't sell out more than you have to.
Right.
That to the point that the deal's no good for you,
Right.
and it's all good for this person.
Well, the event will be, the kids, they all will benefit, whether they realize it or not. It'll be a good experience for them meeting the people. They've got to register, they've got to take them to their table. They're all preparing a resume, so they're all going to be prepared when they meet the business people, whether they're looking at a job, a new job or a first job. So all the way around, it's a good first experience.
Yeah. Now, do you think this helps the business as much as it helps the person who's looking for the job?
The little bit of feedback that I've gotten, and most of that has come from the merchants and from the Adirondacks Speculator Chamber of Commerce. Everybody seemed happy with the employees that they got from the career fair last year. That was Trey, that was Maddie, a couple of parents got jobs, a couple of seasonal residents, kids got jobs. So from what I can tell, the merchants were happy.
And it also gives them good exposure in the fact that when people write up about the career fair, that they're giving the opportunity for these young kids to take that first step into the career field. And that's always some good advertising right there.
Absolutely. I want them to get good employees, but I appreciate the fact that they're willing to help me train the students and get them ready for this first step.
Now, do you think the internet has affected how businesses have to advertise?
Absolutely. I had a business, bed and breakfast in a restaurant for 29 years, and the inn was only 8 rooms and the restaurant was 50 seats. And that was in the day of newspaper ads and radio ads and flyers. But then the internet boomed after we were about 10 years in the business. How do you reach the world? So the flyers and the radio and the TV kind of fell by the wayside. You were trying to reach a worldwide audience, so it definitely, and social media wasn't a factor then, and now social media can make or break a business. So I look at what happened with Starbucks. That wasn't quite social media, that was mainstream media, but they're closing all 8,000 stores to try to repair the damage that was done out there by one store. So the internet is a big factor.
And it's so odd because it's come so fast. The internet has evolved so fast that even someone like me who's in his, about to be 30, barely understands it anymore. Back when I used to use it as a kid, it has just evolved so fast.
They are saying that the kids that are in first and second grade today are further ahead internet and technology wise than high school kids. And the high school kids have pretty much grown up with it. So it is changing incredibly fast.
Yeah, when I was in elementary school, we used an Apple Lisa. You probably remember those, the big floppy disks. You had to flip those in. And that was Mrs. O'Connell's class. So definitely.
So what I've tried to do is incorporate a lot of technology into everything that I do. We're big on the Google suite of apps. And I know that they're going to be confronted with that when they go to college. They're going to be using platforms, technology platforms, to interact with their professors and their classmates and with everything that they're going to have to do. And unless they gain some proficiency in high school, they won't be prepared. And I'm taking it very seriously. The school is taking it very seriously. They've invested heavily in technology to help the students get ready.
Yeah, and I know that I've had some instances in college where you barely even meet the professor anymore because everything is on a dashboard of some sort. You send the assignment in, they send it back with the grade on it, and you might see them maybe for class, but you barely see them outside unless you really track them down.
Right.
So
we use Google Classroom, and I've used it some, but I just introduced it the fourth quarter in my 9th grade career and financial management class, and they're doing what's called an extreme internship, and the entire thing is presented on the internet and through Google Classroom. All the assignments are there, the commenting is there, the turning in the assignment is there, the grade is there, and I'm there to facilitate during the class, but they go to the website and the classroom to find the whole thing there. So the due dates are there, the instructions are there, the assignments are there, and that's very new for them.
Do you think the internet has made it easier for people to work, especially in a remote town such as Wells, like Pleasant Speculator?
I really can't say. I know there's a big move afoot to increase the broadband in Hamilton County, and I would say it will make it easier. But right now, I don't see where there's enough of a density, or people just don't have their head around working that way.
Well, I know there's always been a major push for a more work-at-home type environment where a company might have you work at home, so then they don't have to have a large central area. I mean, I know looking through Apple, a lot of their call centers are people who work at home with the dashboard they have.
I recently spoke to a company, I forget who it was, but the customer service person was working at home from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
So there you
And
go.
she was doing customer service. Had all up on her desktop, was all set up by the company. I have a friend actually that works for Frontier, and she works a call center right out of her house.
Well, we're hoping, at least when I've talked to the town board and I've recorded the town board meetings, that everything should be set by at the earliest 2019 into 2020. So hopefully all the broadband can get there. Because especially like where I live, my internet is useless. Like I have useless internet. where I can barely do anything. I have to go to the library, I have to go to other people's house to get my
Right.
work done. And when you're in a business as this, internet radio, you kind of need the internet
Exactly.
to do that.
Exactly.
So hopefully, once all that gets going,
In place.
everything will start becoming smoother,
Right.
easier to do.
Probably the biggest internet influence that has happened in southern Hamilton County are all the second home businesses. They're all on Airbnb and Home Away and that type of thing. There are a lot of second home properties that are rented to people from around the world, and it's all through the internet. They have the pictures, they have the reservation system, they have the payment methods, and the owner just, contracts with somebody to manage the property and clean the property, and people are coming and going from our neighborhood from all over the world.
Yeah. I know that the Speculative Chamber of Commerce is having a class on Airbnb and how to successfully have an Airbnb experience, how to set it up and all that, as a way to kind of counteract the shortage of hotels and motels that we have in our area.
I think there's a real opportunity for the second home industry, whether it's Airbnb, vacation rentals, Home Away. If those people were to organize either through the chamber or some other vehicle, you probably have 25 or 30 properties at least, which could conceivably, if it was coordinated, they could conceivably have a motor coach tour. Find one restaurant that could feed those people, and there are a couple of restaurants that could accommodate a motor coach. And we don't have a property that could accommodate them, but if you looked at the location of these vacation rentals, the motor coach could just make a tour around, drop people off, come back around, pick them up, go up to the meal, go up to the museum, come back, pass around, drop them off. I think there's an opportunity for these folks to get together, but somebody's got to take the ball and run with it, whether it's the chamber or an individual owner to organize like a rental property owners association or a bed and breakfast association, something like that.
No, interesting fact, my house is actually part of a large hotel collection that was built in the late 1800s when they had one giant hotel and then they had many properties outside of that. If you ever come to my house, it has a wraparound catwalk balcony, has set up like a hotel, so each room is its own room.
Really?
Yeah. And then in the middle was the living room, which is where our living room is. Living room, meeting area for everybody.
Common area.
So a lot of the houses, at least on that strip of road, are built in that fashion to be hotels already. So that's
Right.
always an interesting. Yeah. What do you think has to be done to bring more business into this community?
Just continue to be creative. I don't think there's one answer. We're a relatively old community, a couple hundred years old, and people have been here for a long time. A lot of new people are coming in, so there's always a combination of old ideas and new ideas. So I don't think there's any one answer. I think what you're doing and a few other people are doing, people are constantly proposing and trying new things. There's no one answer. Just keep thinking out of the box and try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, move on. Don't stop there.
Right, like I said, you gotta be flexible.
Got to be
Don't break.
flexible. Exactly.
But yeah, I know that's a big problem here is trying to get the new ideas and mix them with the old values.
Right.
Try to keep our identity as the Adirondacks.
Correct.
Yeah, so
We have a phenomenal product in the Adirondacks. It's not found anywhere else in the world. People want to come here. And a lot of the people don't necessarily know what it's about. They just know it's special. And if we can keep it clean and pure and unpolluted and friendly, we're going to have a winning formula.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for letting me talk to your class. This has been really a great experience, and thank you for showing me around to all the new things in the school. I'll tell you, just in 12 years, the changes are are mind-blowing.
We have a very supportive Board of Education and Administration. Thank you.
All right, but yes, thank you for that. And for everyone else out there on Backland Radio, I will see you next time.